Hello, gardening friend. I wanted to share with you a quick little experiment on getting elderberry cuttings to root. Now, if you're looking for more natural ways to take care of certain ailments or looking to build immunity and kind of just stay healthy during the cold and flu season, or simply want to just start incorporating more natural remedies into your health routine and lifestyle, then elderberry is such a wonderful tree to grow. If you're limited in space, you can grow them in containers. And if you have the space and time to grow them outside, that's another wonderful option. So I was at a friend's house and she has this beautiful, mature elderberry tree that I was just standing in front of admiring. And while we were outside chatting, she noticed a young elderberry seedling that had sprouted up and was growing a few feet away from her mature tree. And if you're not already familiar with how elderberry grows, it has this network of roots that grow underground but horizontally. And along that horizontal root, new shoots will pop up randomly several feet away from the mature tree. So if you don't have the time or the energy to keep up with it, it can quickly take over your garden space. So she saw this little tree and yanked it out of the ground and was going to get rid of it. But I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Can I please take this home with me? Like, I would love to grow this in my garden. So since this little tree was yanked out of the ground, there were some roots already established. So I broke this into three different parts because I noticed one of the branches had already kind of broken off. So I ended up with one cutting that had roots on it, another one that was a little bit more of a harder wood, and then a softer wood or a greener cutting. So what I did was took advantage and took the cutting that had roots already on it and placed it directly in ground. Whereas the other two cuttings, I went ahead and just plopped them into a glass of water just to make sure that if the cutting that I placed outside didn't take, well, at least I had some backups. So for the first week and a half, I'd say nothing really happened. So after 2 weeks, I went outside and checked out the cutting that I had placed in ground, and I noticed new growth had sprouted up from the ground. Now, see, normally with cuttings, you'd start to notice new leaves along that branch or that cutting. But in this case, the cutting didn't have any new growth along that main stem or stalk. What it did was it shot up new growth from under the ground, from along that root. So I was super excited. This one definitely was a success, but it's almost bound to happen because this cutting already had some roots established. So really now my attention was on the cuttings that I had in water. Now these particular cuttings were stored inside of my house on my kitchen counter because I didn't want to place them outside and risk the sun burning them or killing them before they even had a chance to root. And on week 2, there was still nothing going on. So I just left it there. I kept changing out the water every 3 or 4 days just based on advice I've seen and heard in the past. Although I have also seen and heard the advice to not change out the water because some of the little organisms or microbes that end up forming in that water are actually beneficial when you're trying to root cuttings. But either way, I ended up changing out the water every 3 or 4 days. And it wasn't until week 3 that I actually noticed a change. Now, the harder wood cutting that I had placed in this water didn't root. It actually died. Whereas the softer cutting or the green cutting, that actually formed roots. Now, had I placed the harder wood cutting in ground outside, it may have formed roots. It may have done better than just placing it in water. I unfortunately don't know and I won't know. So I went ahead and transplanted it outside. This was the only thing sticking up out of the ground. It was a little bit taller, but I removed the excess dead branch. What ended up happening is the root network underneath shot up new growth back here and another one right here. Now, this was initially placed in ground on June 1st, and today is July 5th. So this is about a month and almost a week's worth of growth. So this little unplanned experiment showed me just how easy it is to propagate elderberry from cuttings without any fuss and without too many steps. So if you're interested in growing elderberry and you have access to cuttings either online, Facebook Marketplace, or if you have a friend that actually has an elderberry tree, ask them for some cuttings or even a little volunteer seedling that pops up around the mother plant. and bring it home and experiment, have fun with it. And although these berries have been used throughout history for thousands of years for their medicinal properties, they shouldn't be consumed raw. They contain cyanogenic glycosides, which are toxic when consumed raw. So you do have to cook these berries before using. So whether you're trying to prepare jams, jellies, pies, syrups, and I would love to get into more detail on the different preparation methods. I may do a video in the future once my little baby shrubs start to produce fruit. If you're still watching, I want to thank you for being here. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help my channel out. Now, if you've grown elderberry from cuttings or have any comments to add, please drop them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and happy gardening. I'll see you soon.